Jen Polanz, Managing Editor of Green Profit. Today I'm joined by Ryan McEnaney, Marketing and Communication Manager for Bailey Nurseries. Hi, Ryan.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So today we're going to talk about an eclipse, but not a solar eclipse. We're going to talk
about a solar eclipse too, but we're going to start with the hydrangea.
Okay, let's start with the hydrangea.
So we are really excited to introduce Eclipse Big Leaf Hydrangea in 2024 within the First Editions collection. It's a beautiful dark leaf, the first ever dark leaf hydrangea macrophylla that's going to stay dark all season long, year after year. So really excited to bring it to market this year.
So tell us a little bit about what the applications are for this and where in the U.S. it can be grown.
We're thinking that Eclipse is going to maybe be treated a little bit differently than other hydrangea macrophylla. And that's one of the reasons that it went into the First Editions collection and not Endless Summer. It is a remontant or a reblooming hydrangea like Endless Summer. But because, again, this with that dark foliage, it's a little bit more dramatic and different than a standard hydrangea macrophylla. It fit really well within this First Editions collection that is all about like thinking differently about how to use plants and having fun with it. So we think that this one might be used. You could use it as a big hedge. It could be as that focal point or just adding a lot of drama to the garden. Most other hydrangea macrophylla, zone 9 all the way through zone 5. We rated it as zone 5 really intentionally to set home gardeners up for success. We are in Minnesota we were zone 4. Now we are technically zone 5, but I've had it in my yard for a number of years. It does flower, but it's just not as like consistent and rapid as like a pop star. That it just flowers like crazy in zone 4. So it does flower. But again, we want to make sure that we're setting home gardeners up for success. So we did put it to a zone 5 just to make sure that they're sort of level setting. Really broad application all across the U.S. It went through a really long trialing process. It was bred by David Roberts at Bailey Innovations at our farm in Athens. This is the first plant from David's work to go all the way from that cross and seed collection into introduction. So we're really excited for David. This is some of his testing work that he did down in Georgia. Not only do we need to make sure that it can be replicated in production, there's no disease issue, that it's going to flower and rebloom, but with this one having that really unique dark foliage, we wanted to make sure that it's going to stay dark. This is another sort of competitive plant that we were looking at that starts with that dark foliage, but once it either gets cut back and reflushes or gets into the sun, it does go green. And so again, we wanted to have some of that side-by-side comparison to see, is this actually what we say that it is? And that's why it takes us so long. That initial seed was collected in 2016, and we're just introducing it in 2024. We really need to take that time to make sure that it's checking all of those boxes and it can be replicated year after year. Because if we can't have success with it, a grower's not going to have success with it. It's never going to get to a garden center, and then the home gardener's not going to have that expected success that we are hoping. So we really take the time with it, and David and his team down at Bailey Innovations. And then we've got the other Bailey sites, as well as some of our licensees that do all this testing with us, including some universities and that sort of thing that do this external trialing. Again, really want to make sure that if we're going to bring a plant to market, especially something like this that's so different, that it really stands up to it.
Makes a lot of sense. And so this year after year, you've seen this dark leaf come back. And so tell us a little bit about application in the landscape and how consumers can really have some fun with this.
That dark foliage allows it to get a little bit more sun than a standard hydrangea macrophylla would. So at our production facilities in Minnesota, Illinois, and even in Oregon, we grow this even in the bare root field in full sun. And when you do that, it gets that really almost black leaf that you can see here. It's really incredible. As you get into warmer climates, especially in the southeast, they grow it under some shade, but still maintains that really dark leaf foliage. So here's some examples where you can see that really beautiful cranberry flower color on there that contrasts so beautifully against that really dark leaf foliage. You can see it combined with some other shrubs, perennials in here to really accent it. So when you talk about that focal point and adding the drama, that's one really great way to do it. So we've got the cranberry flower, or like other hydrangea macrophylla, if it's in acidic soil with the presence of aluminum, it gets this amethyst color. So again, back to some of that testing, we always check to see what it's going to look like in the red versus the purple color. And we didn't know, with that dark purple leaf, we were wondering, is that purple flower color going to look nice against it? And it's stunning. So you can see what that amethyst color looks like. We named it that because it's not really purple like Bloomstruck, and it's not really blue like Endless Summer, the original. It's kind of that jewelly, vibrant color. And then I also want to show what this looks like. This is just, like I mentioned, in our production field in Oregon in full sun. It's Eclipse planted next to some of the Endless Summer series, just so you can see that difference in foliage type. It's really, really spectacularly different. So when we do talk about landscape application, you can see how much different this is than Endless Summer.
And it sounds like consumers, whatever soil issues or whatever soil they have, are still going to have success with it.
Yeah, they can manipulate the color if they'd like. If they have naturally acidic soil and they want to turn it to that cranberry, they can do that, or vice versa. So we're really excited for them to be able to get to use it in the landscape. Whether they want to do something really dramatic, like there's this trend right now of goth gardening. We call it gardening in dark mode. My phone is always in dark mode, so that we're all in on that. So you can do something like this where you have this monochromatic planting design that's really deep and rich. And if this is too much, or you don't want to maybe go with this all the time, use some dark leaf annuals, or garden in dark mode in a different way with contrasts. So we've got honeycomb 9-bark and iceberg alley sage leaf willow that really make that dark leaf pop out. And then in front here, you can see Little Mischief Rose is planted in front. So you have sort of that color echo of the cranberry flowers against the rose, which is really beautiful. And again, just like maybe a softer way to use it in the landscape. So if you want drama, you can do it. If you want this just to sort of be like that beacon of fun and interest in the landscape, you can do that as well. And because it's so different, I think it's going to be a really fun way for home gardeners to be able to have people ask questions about their hydrangeas in maybe a way they haven't before. So we're really excited for everyone to be able to get this into their landscapes this year, and for our industry partners to be able to actually bring this to market after such a big launch at Cultivate last year. Mm-hmm. And we really are rolling out Eclipse in a similar manner with home gardeners. We've been doing home and garden shows in Cleveland and the Northwest Flower and Garden Show in Seattle. There is a full eclipse on April 8th this year, so the timing is perfect. So we're going to do some garden center events around the country to celebrate the eclipse, and then throughout the season. So we are going to be on the ground out promoting Eclipse to make sure that these home gardeners are coming in and asking for it. We're doing national advertising, digital, print, all across the board, lots of earned media. This was on the cover of the winter issue of Garden Gate for their new plants issue. So we are making sure that home gardeners know about this, so they come in asking for it. And we developed a lot of tools and resources that are really specific to this plant, both for the trade and home gardener. So we've got lots available to help talk about some of these plant combinations that work well. We call them best buds in First Editions, what their great plant companions are, taking into account soil and moisture and sun. So we've got all those things in those landscape guides for the industry. We got a retail brochure for retail garden centers and other trade partners to be able to look at, like, what are those messaging points? If they need 3 quick things to be able to talk about, we did that for you. And then we've got this consumer handout as well. So you can scan the QR code or just go to the resources section on the Bailey site. It's all there. If you need digital files, if you need images, videos, all that's there. And if you need hard copies of either the trade or consumer brochures, or if you want these landscape brochures, we're always happy to send them as well. So we want to make sure that everyone has success with it this year, because we know that these home gardeners are going to come in asking for it.
That's great. And so if a retailer is seeing this and think, oh, I really want to order this for this year, can they scan that QR code, or do they need how can they get that process going?
Yeah. Yep. They can scan the QR code. That'll take them to the site. And whether they order from Bailey or one of our really amazing licensee partners. We've got distribution points through the licensees all around the country, so they can find that information all on the website as well.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Ryan, for bringing us this new introduction.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching Trending Now, and watch for more videos coming soon.